Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing right from where we left off on the beginner's guide. So in the last one we talked about runes, but we didn't quite cover substats and rarities. Today we're pretty much covering that. So when you get runes in general from this game, which you're going to get a lot of them, you're going to notice that a lot of these tend to follow a couple rules. We're going to explain two of these rules right here, right now. So the first rule is that specific rarities must have a certain number of substats. So in order from the worst rarity to the best, gray runes, which is the worst, will have 0 substats. Green runes will have 1 substat. Blue runes will have 2, purples 3, and orange 4. And this will be before they've even been upgraded. The second rule we must note is that whenever a rune reaches a certain level, it must be a specific rarity or higher. So when a rune reaches +3, which I'll have it some on the screen, it must be green or higher in rarity. If a rune by default is already higher than that rarity, so let's say I upgrade a purple rune and the purple rune gets to +3, it'll stay a purple rune. But if I get a gray rune and I upgrade that one to +3, it'll turn into a green rune. At +6, a rune must be blue. At +9, a rune must be purple. So these runes right here, these blue ones, at +9 will turn into the purple ones. And then from +9, or at +12, they will turn into orange runes. Meaning every rune that is at +12 will be orange. And you see it says like legend at the top right here. But some of these start off purple or start off blue. So you see the default grade right here says blue or rare. The ones that they give you in the beginning are rares. In case you thought, you were special. Nope. Or this one is a hero, but it's not great. But yeah, I bet you didn't know that, right? The runes they start you off with are average at best. But yeah, so knowing those two rules, we will apply that to upgrading our runes. Now this is important to know because when you're upgrading a monster, knowing how substats work will greatly benefit you, again, when you're ruining monsters for later content like stuff like dragons or TOA, because you're going to start needing those substats. Because in case you thought that Giants was as hard as it gets, trust me, Giants is one of the easiest bits of content to get done. Like literally, like I got it done, especially on this account, in like 4 days. But stuff like dragons and Necro and Punishers, Steel Fortress, all those places will require massive amounts of stats and speed tuning and all that stuff. But let's get into it. So we're gonna use let's look at speed. This rune for an example. Right? Let's pick a rune that we would actually want to use, right? This is pretty good. So when upgrading a rune, you're going to probably wonder, okay, so how will I know what it's going to do at +3? Well, at +3, remember, there's certain rules. It must be green, and the green runes must have at least 1 substat. Obviously, our rune is purple, which is a much higher rarity. It's 2 rarities higher. And it has more than 1 subset. It has 3. So when it reaches these levels, so we'll get it to +2. So when we get it to +3, since it meets that criteria, instead of adding a new substat, what it will do is it'll increase a previous one. Knowing this, we could choose which substats, in a way we could choose which substats are going to increase. So I could tell myself, I'm going to keep this rune regardless. It's a speed rune. Come on, let's be honest. But I could tell myself, okay, it's going to either go into HP percent or attack percent, because this could be like a healer or rune, like for like Thrawn almost. So it has to go into HP percent or attack percent. So I'll upgrade it once, and it went into attack percent. I knew it would go into attack percent because it followed the 2 rules, meaning that, it was going to roll into one of these substats. And if you want to know, by the way, how much it could increase by, you get to this screen where the rune is, and you click and hold where the substats are, and it'll tell you the range that it can increase by. So at first, it was attack plus 5%. We got the lowest potential roll for, for it to upgrade. But that's fine. I don't really care. So we're going to get it to plus 6, actually. You know what? So at plus 6, it'll do that very same thing again. Because at plus 6, it must either be a blue rune or higher. This is clearly higher. So when we get it to plus 6, it'll upgrade again. Another low roll, okay? Another low roll. So now, we're going to get it to plus 9. At plus 9, the rule is it must be purple or higher. It is purple. So what it will do is it'll increase one of the substats again. If it decides to do it. Knowing my upgrade luck, it's not going to do it within the next minute. It went into HP percent. And that actually, I think, had the second highest roll. It had the second highest roll. So, knowing this, you can see how, we can kind of like decide what runes are going on which monsters. So, again, if I wanted to make a, let's say, make a rune for Lucian, right? I could look for runes that had specific substats. Let's say, Blade Rune. That doesn't have what I want. That doesn't have what I want. None of it has what I want, because F me, right? God dang it. What about crit damage? What about crit damage? Okay, let's say, for example, I was considering this. I tell myself, it has to go into crit rate both times. And it must at least, it just has to go into twice. Let's just say it just has to go into there twice. So, if it does what I want, which it probably won't, it goes speed, like I thought it would. Then I could choose to stop upgrading it. I could tell myself, okay, it's a lost cause. Let me look for another rune. So, knowing the rules, let's see what happens at plus 9. At plus 9, if the rules, are true, it should upgrade to a purple rune. So let's see it. Probably not today. Probably tomorrow it's going to decide to upgrade. Boom. It went into purple and it gave itself another substat. Again, it followed the rules. So, it's important to note stuff like this because you're going to see a lot of people ruining monsters in a specific way. And for example, I want to use Amon as an example. For Amon, his kit requires him to have tons of HP and a lot of crit rate. So, that's what I tried to give him. I got him crit rate in slot 2. He's HP percent and crit rate in the subs. Clearly, I think this is a blue rune. It's a purple rune. Okay, it went once into flat HP and then 2 times in the crit rate. But, as you can see, I was able to, I picked certain runes that I knew it would upgrade into those substats. I mean, there's probably a ton of runes that I just didn't pick up because, or didn't, use, even though it's upgraded because of this, So, for example, you see there, it went into crit rate. This one went into resistance, HP. This one has HP percent. So, let's say I wanted to replace that 5th rune. I look for here. Crit rate. So you see here, I was probably, you can see here I gave up because accuracy. So here's another chance. This one has crit rate plus 5%. It needs to beat this rune, which has no crit rate. I want it to go into crit rate almost each and every time. So let's hope it goes into crit rate. That went into resistance, but I wouldn't mind a little resistance on him anyways. So I'll just go crit rate, and it'll be much more worth it. I'm not going to throw it on him, because he's already at 100%, but still. And I could choose to stop upgrading there, and then I can move on to the next rune, and continue this process over and over and over again, until I get the subsets that I want. So I don't have to wait, and I don't have to get runes to plus 12 to figure out exactly how they're going to upgrade I know the rules. I know how it's going to upgrade. I've seen the property ranges. I know everything. So here I could decide, okay, is it worth it? I'll tell myself, yeah, it's probably still worth it. Let's see it go into crit rate percent. If it goes into resistance, I'm not throwing it on. But if it goes into crit rate, I will. Anytime today. So, no, I won't throw it on. But, those are substats. And we also kind of passively talked about rarities. I did want to note one thing. Reapps and stuff like grinds we won't be talking about quite yet. But, yeah. I mean, I hope this video was somewhat helpful. I tried to explain it best I can with those 2 rules. I'm kind of glad it didn't last as long. I thought those videos was going to be so long. But, I mean, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something from this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.